Hey, 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 hey. And what the fuck you do, Slim? We get straight into it. Straight drop TV with this 10-minute clip I got about how a 14-year-old boy made over $15,000 a week selling drugs in his community. This is around 1988, I believe. And when the boy got busted, it was so big to the news that a 14-year-old kid had an operation, 6 to 7 blocks, 20 to 30 men that was under him. A 14-year-old boy. The news articles and the newspapers, they all wrote about it. The interviewers, they set him down. They gave him an interview, but he didn't want to be on camera. You gotta remember, back then to now, it's different. Somebody got a camera on you, and that wasn't really too cool back then. The internet wasn't really out as if it is now. How people self-snitch on themselves, talk all day online, record it, show their guns, whatever, etc. But he said, I will let you record my words so you can hear what I'm saying and tell you how I got started in the game, who put me on, and till the day I got busted. So the news people who took the video, the recording of him, they got an actor, someone that was around his age, his complexion, his size, with a little street mentality, and act out each word that he used to bring it to life in this video about to play right here. Alright? This shit cool, man. Y'all ready? This shit about to
Crack. Brooklyn, New York.
A lot of people sell crack. The thing is to own crack and have people sell it for you. You gotta save up while you sell for someone else. You gotta think things out for yourself. That's like a gift to me. That's what I can do. Think and figure.
When I was that age, the jobs for teenagers were helping in the yard and babysitting and delivering newspapers. Good evening. I'm Connie Chung. Times have changed. Our first story tonight is about a kid who started selling his product at the tender age of 8. He owned his own business at 14. He says he was making as much as $15,000 a week selling the hottest item around, crack cocaine. Now, how could a kid not even old enough to drive a car run a sophisticated drug operation? You're going to see how, with the help of people who know him, including the boy's mother. The boy is in rehabilitation now and didn't want to appear on television. So we asked a young actor to speak his words. Everything the actor says to you, the boy said to us. And what he says will tell you more about the drug problem in America than any statistic or any study. Because the answer to the problem isn't out there somewhere, it's in here, it's inside the mind of a kid. And that's where you're about to go.
What do I want to say about myself? My name means king. I looked it up in the encyclopedia. And that's how I think of myself, as a king.
When he first came into the facility, he came in with a real tough image. He's really angry of what he survived as a little kid. His father left when he was really young, abandoned him. His mother worked a lot. He was left.
I made a lot of money in drugs. That went. I didn't want anything anyway. I didn't buy a car because I wasn't old enough to drive. I bought shoes and stuff. You don't know how it is with me. I've been in rehab a long time now.
Tell me, what kind of baby was he?
A crier. He was a crier.
Cute.
Oh, he was adorable. As a matter of fact, he was my prettiest baby. And not being a mother saying that, everybody said that, you know, when he was born. He's such a pretty baby. He should have been a girl, you know.
He's a little guy, and he almost looks maybe a couple years younger than he really is.
Yeah. And I think that's why he got away with doing what he was doing for so long out on those streets. Because nobody realized that somebody that little or that young would be doing something like that.
I mean, the authorities.
Yeah. I really think that's why he got away with a lot. Before that one time that he was arrested.
I mean, you're saying that the police probably never suspected that this little guy was selling drugs.
Yeah. But then they start taking on the form of a pusher, you know. Not a pusher, well, deal or whatever. The hooded jackets, the hat over the hood, the collar's up, you know, and just dirty looking. He always looked dirty to me. Even his skin was so dark. He just looked very dirty to me all the time.
Yo. Right, little man. What's up? This is a pleasant surprise.
He was a very bright,
How's your day, man?
bright child. He picked up everything very fast. Anything that was given to him to do, or, you know, he would pick it up right away.
You know I'm taking a chance with you. You know that.
Of course, man.
You're not lying to me about anything.
Swear to God, Papa, I'm not.
I hope not. I have some rules. I don't ever want to hear about you cutting my throat.
I would never do that.
Because I will come looking for you.
I know you will.
And I don't want you to come within 10 feet of me unless you got business with me. You understand that?
Absolutely.
You understand that?
Fine, man, right.
All right, you're going to be just fine, little man.
To not cut his throat. What that means is don't move in on my spots.
What's up, man?
Like, if he's selling on 49th Street, I can't sell there. I'd have to find my own spots, which I did, which was easy. How I met Popeye was he used to come to my house with my older brother. Can I smoke? I used to wake up at night and I used to go to the kitchen to get something to drink or watch TV.
fun, man. It's cool. All right.
I got it. Yeah, that's looking real nice.
Yeah, right. Turn it now. Just turn it.
And I'd find them there
that's
cooking up
the best.
crack.
All right. Cúcala, cúcala, que ella sabe. Cúcala. Hey, come on, turn. There you go.
There you go. I got it.
Yo, man, your brother's scoping us out.
It's all right.
How you do it? You let it cook, and then you pick up the jar, and you take a wet cloth, and you pat the bottom, and it sizzles and all that. And then you take it, and you shake it around, and you put it back down for another few minutes, and you let it cook. You gotta watch out, it doesn't get that hot. A lot of times the bottle breaks. You put the wet cloth on it, and the whole thing explodes, because it gets too hot from the wetness in the water and everything. It just explodes on you. And because of that, I stood back real far when I was watching them. And I wouldn't even go and tell my parents. Off and on, I sold drugs for about 8 years. Loose joints, coke, whatever. Started smoking reefer with my brother when I was 6. I'm 14. I ran my own business for 3 months. I sold crack. I was taught to sell down to 14-year-olds. Nobody younger. No, I'm sorry. I could sell reefer, though, to an 8, 9-year-old. A lot of people sell crack. The thing is to own crack and have people sell it for you. You gotta save up while you sell for someone else. You gotta think things out for yourself. That's like a gift to me. That's what I can do. Think and figure. My plan was to own my own drugs from Popeye, so he could trust me. And after a while, I'd be successful. Have my own juice. Juice is knowing people and having money. Popeye gave me a play. Means he gives you more than what you have. I'd put it in smaller vials and sell it for more. We had a closet, and I used to stick it in the overcoats that my mom and father would never wear since it was in the summertime. They weren't going to wear it, so I'd take the crack and I'd stick it in there. After you start your business off, you cannot enter the streets with a whole big amount of money on you or any drugs. You cannot enter the streets like that.
Crack is a very, very effective item. It is probably one of the best marketed items ever. It is cheap and it's effective. It markets itself. That's what's so great. It doesn't require advertising. It doesn't require somebody to go out and get hooked after investing thousands of dollars. It's just out there. So it doesn't even take a kid with a gift, even though this kid thinks he's got a gift. He doesn't have a gift. The gift that he's got is he's got the easiest item to peddle. He's got crack. And he might not have such an easy time trying to sell Plymouths.
When did you first notice that something was going on with your son?
It wasn't for a long time. A long time. I don't think I wanted to know. And see, that's the bad part about parents. They don't want to know. They don't want to open their eyes to what's going on. They feel if they don't look at it, it's going to go away. Doesn't.
Heavy downpours, gusty winds, and hail. Scattered thunder showers will also rain in parts of the south, except for some cloudy sections of the coast of California. And
You got 25?
Yeah, stand over there.
All right.
Drugs are hardly ever sold on corners. They're sold in apartment buildings and in the middle of the block. The best place is in the middle of the block. If the cops come in this way, you can jet down this way. If they come in this way, you can jet down the other way. If they come in both ways, you go up. So you always have a place to go.
Put that down.
All right. Thanks a lot, bro.
partly sunny, 87 degrees in Florida. Orlando, partly cloudy, 93, thunderstorms.
I got up one morning and I went to the window and I looked out, and there's my son walking up and down the block, and I'm watching, and one person would walk over to him and there'd be an exchange or something, and then that person would walk away, and then another person would walk over and there'd be another exchange. And I said to myself, oh my God, he's dealing drugs. I went out and I called him over and I said to him, you f***ing junkie, you were dealing drugs. You're dealing drugs. No, I'm not. What are you calling me a junkie for? I'm not dealing drugs. Get in the, get in the house. Get in the house. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And I dragged him into the house. And then, of course, the screaming, the yelling, the denial. He denied it. I'm screaming, I seen it with my own eyes. How can you deny something that I seen? And you don't know what you seen. I said, you don't know what you're doing to me. He didn't care. They're on these drugs, and they don't care. And my blinds on the front of the building were closed after that. I never would look out the window again.
It was the summer, and the question for the mother wasn't, is my son dealing drugs? It was what to do about it. So like many parents faced with the same situation, she pulled the blinds down and did nothing. And while she had no idea what to do next, her son knew exactly how he would proceed. Push on, expand the business, more crack, more customers, more money, and more risk.
I used to go to Lower Manhattan just to walk around before I was in business, just to think. And I was looking up at one of the buildings, and I looked up, and there was this big window, and there was this guy just looking out, thinking like that. I could see him clearly. For some reason, I was able to see him real clear, and everything just went blank. And all I did was see him. And I turned around to myself and I told myself that one of these days, you'll be like that. Just like that, having control. I just wanted to control the streets. Control.
The 14-year-old is not thinking about jail. He's not thinking about the inherent dangers of the drug trade. He's not thinking about the fact that he may be dead next week, because it's moment to moment. And right now, I've got more money in my pocket than my parents do. And look how big that makes me.
I eventually had a spot on 53rd near 4th. I had a spot on 49th and 8th. I had a spot off 52nd and 5th. And I also had a spot right on 49th. And I had a spot in Sunset Park.
His vision of himself was being a low-life nothing. And he saw being a drug dealer would make him something, make him somebody. He saw the money, he saw the cash, he saw the gold, he saw the cars, and he said, that's what I want. I don't want to be one of these rejects. I don't want to be a lowlife. I want to be successful.
I didn't do anything. When you got your own business, you don't do anything. All you need to do is hold the money. It's incredible the way you start off with nothing and you end up making thousands of dollars a week. Having people respect you, having people protect you, having people listen to every word you say. It's incredible. The cops would pass around maybe once every half hour. We had it down pat until the end, because then they started coming around more. But in the beginning, they would pass around every half an hour. So we try to do as much as we can in a half an hour, and then we'd make everybody get out of there, chasing them. Get out of here, get out of here. And they'd scatter.
He knew how to play the game. See, he started out, instead of playing ball, he was doing drugs. And there's a whole game that goes along with that. And the game is, what will it take for me to be able to get away from the cops, be able to have lookouts, be able to have my runners, be able to pay them off, be able to get money to buy my own drugs, to supply my own men. How will I do that? That is his game. That's their game.
What are we as criminal justice people going to do? Are we going to tell this kid, look, kid, go out, go to high school, learn a trade, maybe get your degree, and what's going to happen? We're going to get you $250 a week, and we're going to tax you. When this kid is 14 years of age, he's out on a stoop outside his home, and he's pulling in $1,000 to $2,000 a week. Who's smart? I don't know.
How many times do you think you tried to stop him?
I couldn't even count the times. We tried everything. We had big spikes, we nailed the windows shut, we changed the lock on the front door that you needed a key to get in, a key to get out, and I would always have the key on me. Tried everything to lock him in that house, and he got out. It was a business. To him, it was a business. And as a matter of fact, there was one time that he came in and asked my husband and I why we wouldn't deal. Because there were other parents dealing. And he couldn't understand why we wouldn't do it. We don't have money. We are poverty level. Of course, when you're poverty level, you always have a lot of bills hanging over your head. And he said we could pay up all the bills, we could have a new car, we could have all new furniture, we wouldn't have to worry about the rent if you dealt drugs. And I didn't yell and scream because I knew he wouldn't hear me if I yelled and screamed at him. And I just explained to him that I couldn't do anything that I would know was killing somebody else's child. And he said to me, well, if they don't come to you, they'll go to somebody else and buy it. I said, well, then let somebody else sell it to them.
Popeye just sold me 358 vials.
Freeze! Up against the wall. Hands up.
I didn't do nothing, man. What are you doing?
Put your hands
I didn't do anything, man. You usually hear the walkie-talkie when they're coming.
Move out.
This time I didn't. I remember a lot of times I'd be in bed and I'd think a hell of a lot. Even when I was getting high, I'd be thinking. I used to think about which way my life was headed. And I'd like watch TV. Did you ever see one of those McDonald's commercials with all the kids? You know, I wondered how it'd be to do that. Nobody has fun like that these days, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a whole group together, go down to McDonald's, joke around, laugh, do your schoolwork. Just doesn't happen that way. That's just not life. That's a fantasy world. That's a different country. Whichever way my life was headed wasn't that way.
I don't know what's going on in this kid's head right now. You don't know what's going on in this kid's head right now. And I'll bet you his mother doesn't know, and I'll bet you that his drug counselors don't know exactly what's going on in his head right now. I don't care what this drug program does for him or does to him. When he comes out, he's going right back to where he started. He has got to want to be better, and he's going to have to want to be better every day for the rest of his life when he walks out of that door.
Like I said, I've been here for a long while now. I'm clean. That's good. I'm ashamed of what I did to my parents. But I had a lot of power out there. I still think about the juice. I still got like this urge to want to sell. When you're out there and you're selling, all you see is money, power, and control. Nothing's wrong. A lot of times that does go through my mind. Still.
First Lady Nancy Reagan is the one who coined the phrase, just say no.
Well, I really don't think Nancy Reagan has ever been in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? I really don't think she's ever come to a neighborhood like where I lived and tried to tell these kids, just say no. Because they'd laugh at her.
This is a mess that we never bargained for. We, at least I, sort of look at things in terms of BC and AC, before crack and after crack. There are jurisdictions in the United States that really haven't experienced the devastating effects of crack yet. I'm telling everybody that it's out there, and whether you realize it or not, it's coming.
It's like living a nightmare. And you wake up to a nightmare. It's terrible. It's the most horrible thing that I think a mother could ever go through, besides losing a son, is to have a son turn to drugs.
With us now, the mother of the boy in our story. We're not using her name to keep the anonymity of her son and her family. And Robert Stutman, the head of the Drug Enforcement Agency's New York office. Thank you for being with us. Tell me, what was your reaction to our story about your son?
It was very upsetting. you know, to relive what had happened. I thought it was well done, and hopefully it'll help somebody out there.
Do you think it will?
I don't think it would help any kid that's using drugs today, but I'm hoping that maybe it'll reach some of the parents.
Your son actually had the same reaction. We showed the story to him, and he said, I don't think this is going to get any kid to stop using drugs.
Mm.
What do you think your son's chances are when he leaves the rehabilitation center?
That's up to him. That is really up to him.
The young man came across to me, and I may be wrong, but just by looking the piece, and that's the only advantage I have, as more of a drug trafficker than a drug user. Something he said in the piece bothered me. After 18 months, he still, when he thought about selling dope, missed the juice. He still missed the thrill of being boss. And clearly, in the piece, he was the boss out in the street. I mean, this is a very bright, clever entrepreneur. Unfortunately, he had turned it in the wrong direction. Do I feel sorry for him? Of course I do. I feel sorry for his mother. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for any family that gets involved. But my gut sorrow is for that 12, 13, or 14-year-old that he may have sold to the first time and may end up dead.
So what do we do? A 14-year-old kid who's able to sell drugs for thousands of dollars. What do we do?
Well, I think we do two things. Number one, we revamp our criminal justice system for adults and kids so that we have a criminal justice system that finally says if you violate the law and if you're caught and convicted, there is a swift, sure punishment for your actions. We somehow have to set up a system that says you are punished for the choices you make.
So we would have seen her son in jail today.
No, maybe what would have happened is the kids or the adults her son saw selling dope when he first started going to jail, then maybe the three of us would have never been here today.
What advice do you have for parents since you've been through this? Since you've been through hell?
Parents, they have a way of thinking the child's doing it to them. And that's what they say. Look what you're doing to me. You're killing me. Why are you doing this to me? They're not doing it to you. They're doing it to themselves. And to tell you the truth, they don't care.
The kids?
Yeah, if they're doing it to you. Because they're thinking, I'm not doing nothing to her. I'm doing this to myself, and it's not hurting me. But if you keep going after them and saying to them, look what you're doing to yourself. Look what you look like. I mean, children still have a little pride in themselves, you know, in the way they look. And look what you look like. You're going to die. Because if you're telling them, you're killing me, you're not going to die. This child is going to die on drugs, and you're still going to live. Your life's going to go on. So he's not killing you. He's killing himself.
Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your coming in. And thank you, Robert Stutman of the DEA.